So here's the first place you're going to go. I actually don't want you to go there yet. Okay, I don't want you to get lost in the trying to search stuff up on the computer and what I'm saying. So I'll give you a chance to go here in a second. But this is where you're going to go first eventually. It's desmos.com. Okay, there's something I want you to do first actually. So I'm going to change my mind, which I'm allowed to do, right? Okay, so please everyone go to desmos.com. Is everybody here? Okay, what you're going to do is start graphing. Press the big red button that says start graphing. Now, this is great for this project, but it's also great to have if you're at home and need a calculator and you don't have one with you. This is a good place to go. You can use it on a computer, and you can also use it on your phone. There's an app. Okay? So let me sign it real quick so we can go through it. So at the top right-hand corner up here, do you see where it says Create Account? Click on that, please. Create Account. You can create it with your Google account, or you can create it with your email address. So choose one of those and create yourself an account. Does everybody have an account? Is everybody logged in? Now up here in the top it should say your name or your email, however you put it in. Is that correct? Yes? Okay. Now just watch for a bit. Okay? That was a problem earlier because people forgot to do that, and it's going to be a big deal if you forget to do it later. Okay? So let me start. Let me just give you a quick demonstration of this. You can use, if you have a mouse, if you're using a mouse, you can use the scroll button to zoom in and out on the domain and range, or you can use these buttons over here on the side if you want to do that as well. Okay? Let me start doing some stuff for you real quick though, so you can have a little demonstration of this. Let's see, how creative do I want to be with you guys? Pretty simple? Okay. Let's see. Put the wrong sign in. No big deal, it fixes it for me. How about 5? I guess that's okay, but maybe I need it like that. Oh, that's good. Y is less than 4. Am I doing anything hard? Have I done anything hard so far? That's better. dang it. Forgot that. There. Can anyone tell me what I'm making? Penguin, right? You get the idea, right? He's missing eyes. Maybe he's sleeping right now. Okay? Do I need to put the eyes there? Is that going to freak people out? Okay, it's going to take a minute because this one's a little harder, but not too hard. 0.5, 2.5. -7. Oh, that's too big. I think that's in the wrong place. We'll fix it in just a minute though. It's not that hard. Oh, that's good. Is that better? You're pleased with that? Now, how long did that take me? A couple minutes, right? Okay. So that's a good start for what my project is about. Okay. Maybe I want to put some water. Maybe he's sitting beside the water. Maybe he's about to jump in the water. There's some water. I mean, it's purple water. I don't know how I like that. So let me change it to blue water. That's much better. His eyes are different colors, but that's allowed. Right? You get the idea? So you're going to make a picture or a thing. Okay? Now, I'm going to hit save at this point because this is not like Google. It's not going to save for you automatically. You're going to have to hit save. Did everybody see where the save button was? Right up here where it says, I could even title it Penguin in the Water or Mrs. Kingston's Graph or something like that, right? Okay? But the cool part is I can go back and look at other graphs that I've made. Like a delicious taco. See? Here's a tomato, and an olive, and some cheese. And then here's the little taco stand so it doesn't fall over on my plate. I could look at this dead snowman. See, he fell over. I could look at this airplane. See the propellers going? I could look at this strange cat. It's a strange cat because it only has 3 whiskers and no eyes. Also because it has different color ears. But I could also look at something like this. What's that? It's more like abstract art, right? A shelf with spaghetti, maybe. Okay? So your picture doesn't have to be a penguin sitting in water. It can be an abstract picture like this. It can be your name. It can be Dory. It could be the Batman symbol. If you like that sort of thing. Okay? But you've got to create something. Right? I don't know if you've noticed, but I've already put the rubric on Google Classroom. Okay? So let's look at the rubric real quick. Here's what the rubric looks like. You are going to, when you turn this in, you're almost going to turn it in twice. Okay? Because up here where your name is, because you've logged in, when you do this, the one right beside it where it says share graph, you're going to share graph and you're going to either copy this link and turn it in Google Classroom, or you're going to export the image to me and turn it in Google Classroom. Okay, probably putting the link into Google Classroom is probably the easiest way. Do you understand that? Okay, because I already made it an assignment. When I put it in Google Classroom, I put it in as an assignment. Okay, so copy this link when you're done. Length? I meant link. Copy this link and put it into Google Classroom when you're done. But then you're also going to print it off and turn it into me that way. Does everybody understand that? Okay. So, looking at the rubric again, I'm going to go back and forth so I can make sure everybody knows what to do. Okay. I want your name on the back of your picture. I want you to write your name on the back of your picture. So if you don't turn it in like paper-wise, you don't get those points, right? I want you to put it in the pocket of a folder. If you don't turn it in paper-wise, you can't get those points. Either color it or print it in colored ink. 5 points. You already got a 15. Okay? Now, do you guys know how to read a rubric? So how many parabolas do you have to have in your picture? 5. See? 5. If you want all the 10 points, you have to have 5 parabolas. Does that make sense? Okay? And then for everyone that you don't have, you get reduced points from there. Okay? So these are the required functions that you have to have in your graph. Now, how many did I have? Let me go back to that untitled one that I just did. How many parabolas did I have in this graph? 2, right? I have 2 parabolas. So if I need to add 3 more, right? What if when I'm doing my parabolas, I end up adding 4 more? No. Not this time. Normally it is, right? You'll see why it's not this time in a minute, okay? But if you need 4 more to make your graph look fine, like if you want it, symmetric or something like that, you can add more than 5. You just have to have at least 5. Does that make sense to everyone? Okay. What about the circles? Is that something that's required? But can I have them in there anyways? Because I want my penguin to have eyes. Yeah. Okay. So these are the parabolas, cubes, vertical lines, horizontal lines, absolute values, square roots, cube roots. Those are the ones that are required. 5 of each. Okay. Now, equations grouped. Let me make sure you understand what that means. On your graph, this is just kind of me starting to make the picture, and it's just like a whole bunch of equations, right? Well, I can go to this plus sign right here on the left-hand side at the top and hit that and make a folder. And I want to call that folder parabolas. Okay? Now watch carefully. Do you see a line underneath where it says parabolas? Well, that's because there's not one. That's because there's nothing in this folder. But this first equation is a quadratic, so it would make a parabola, right? So if I click on it and drag it up into that folder, now do you see a line on the left-hand side? Does everybody see that line right there? That means that equation is in that folder. And if I close that folder, that equation is gone. Well, it's not really gone, right? It's just in the folder. This one's also a parabola. When I move it in there, a line comes. I know it's in the folder. Some of my students from last year said to me that it's a lot easier to just start off with the folders already made. And once you make another one of those types of equations, to just drag it in the folder. Okay? I'm not telling you have to do that. I'm telling you that's what some students from last year told me. Okay? But it's really, 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 really much easier for me to grade if all of the parabola equations are grouped together. And then all of the horizontal lines equations are grouped together. And then all the absolute values are grouped together. Does that make sense? Yeah? Okay. So that's what it means when it says equations grouped. Turned in. Well, it's due February 1st. You can tell that from here, and it also says it on the top. Due February 1st. Okay? But if you turn it in any day before that, you'll get extra points for that day. Okay? Now, the equation sheet turned in. This is what the equation sheet is. If I go here to share graph and print it, I get one that's the graph, and then I get one that's the equation sheet. So again, if you don't print it out and turn it in, I can't give you credit for this because you haven't turned it in. Okay, this is the equation sheet. Does everybody understand that? Okay. Domain and range, restricted on every required function. So I need to be very clear about that. On my domain and range, did I restrict the domain or range of my parabolas? Yeah, because you can't see the whole entire parabola. You can only see the part that I want you to see. Okay? So to restrict the domain or the range, you use these pretty braces. Look on your keyboard real quick. It's going to be the shift and then the button right beside the P. Does everybody see the pretty braces? Those are what you use to restrict the domain and range. Okay? I already had a couple issues today with people's domain and range not working. Let me tell you this. This needs to be an equation. I know very well that if I put in x squared, it's going to give me a parabola. But it may not work right with the domain and range unless I put y equals x squared. Do you see the difference? Okay, so you need to make sure that everything that you put in over here on this left side in the entry area, you need to make sure those are all equations and not just expressions for your domain and range to work right. Okay? Sometimes that might work right if it's not an equation, but it won't always work right. Okay? Notice on these first two, I restricted my domain. I went lowest is less than x is less than the highest. Lowest is less than the x is less than the highest. Notice on this third one, on the little arm right here, I only restricted I restricted the range first of all because it's a y, and I only did one part of it. Because you know absolute value has a starting point and then it goes up in every direction, right? In both directions. Well, I only wanted to start here at the starting point and only stop at 4. So I could put between 2 and 4, but I don't have to put the 2 because that's only where it starts. Does that make sense to everyone? Okay? So I only put everything less than 4, and that's allowed. Okay? Now notice the eyeballs. Did I restrict the domain on the eyeballs? Did I restrict the range on the eyeballs? So am I going to get in trouble for that? No, because circles are not required. Okay? On the rubric it says restrict every domain. I really should put restricted on every required function. On these required functions are what you have to restrict the domain and range on. Domain or range. Okay? Does everybody understand about that? Now, the bottom, it gives you a place for rational, logarithmic, and exponential functions. Those are not functions that we've studied in this class yet. You studied exponential functions in Algebra 1, okay? But rational and logarithmic functions you've never seen before, okay? But I'm giving you extra points if you want to go look into those and figure out what the equation looks like and put them into your drawing, into your picture. Everybody understand? Okay, so somebody asked me a question. What do you have? Everybody understands every single part of this project already? Say again? Yeah? Do you think you might have questions as you start? Yeah? So what do you do when you do that? Ask then, right? Okay. Let me show you one more thing. People today have People today have had a couple questions about just getting started. Because some people don't like this project at all because I say graph whatever you want. Now, graph whatever you want with an asterisk by it because it needs to be school appropriate. Okay? But I don't give you any directions. I don't say everyone has to make a house or everyone has to do a penguin, right? I tell you, you can do whatever you want. School appropriate. Okay? And so some people have a hard time starting. Like, where do I start? Well, name a character. Bright, name a character that you like. Or Douglas. Name a character that you like. Yeah. Emmett? Okay. So let's search up Lego movie Emmett. Is that how you spell it? So if I go to the images, Okay, for the record, this one's not going to be an easy one, but we'll try it, okay? So I'm going to save this image, save image as, and it already has a name. I'm going to put it on my desktop so I can find it easily. Is that the right one? Oh wait, how do I want to open it? I don't know. Okay, yeah, that's the right one, right? Okay, so if I go to my desmos page, my blank page, I'm going to hit this plus sign over here again, add, but this time I'm going to add an image. And I'm going to choose emit. Okay, now I have emit on my page. So what I can do is I can try to figure out the equation of the parabola that would be the lid of his hat or the top of his hat. That might be an easier one to start with. Now it's not exactly a parabola because it has a flat part right up here, but we're just using our imagination anyways, right? So it's going to be y equals, and it's going to be upside down, so I know it's a negative. And it looks like 4.5, so let's do x squared plus 4.5. So it's starting in the right place, right? But I need it wider. So what about if I put 0.5? Nope, not wide enough. 0.8? 0.01? Oh, that's 2. What about 0.1? So 0.2? Getting closer, right? 0.3? It's pretty close. So I wanted to stop at 2, so I want everything greater than 2. So braces y is greater than 2. Now I'm going to turn off the picture. I'm not deleting it, I'm just turning it off. I'm going to go, see, everybody see my cursor? I'm going to come over here to the button, like where I can see emit in the small circle, and click on it. And I can click on and off and say, is that really what I want? Well, that's actually probably more of a half circle, right? So maybe a half circle would be a better representation right there. So I don't want that anymore. Maybe I want x squared. Well, x squared plus y squared is my starting for a circle. Does everybody know that from geometry last year? You remember? So, but I use the same rules for transformations. So if I want to move it up to 4.5, that would affect the y value, right? So would it be plus 4.5 or minus 4.5? What do you think? And if you don't remember, just try something. Is that the right way? No, it's down here, right? So it needs to be minus. Now, the center went to 4.5. Is that what I wanted? No, so maybe I don't want 4.5. Maybe I want 4. Is that low enough? No. 3.5? That's better, right? But I need it to be bigger, so that's going to change some stuff. So x squared plus y squared equals r squared. So my radius maybe needs to be 4. But if it's 4, I need to move it down some. So let's try 3. Nope, a little bit more. 2.5. That's better, right? But I still need it to be bigger, so I'm just adjusting things as I go, right? Does everybody see that? But I'm using my picture as kind of like something to, almost like I'm trying to trace it, right? But I'm having to put equations in to trace it. So just for the record, things that are curvy like emit are a little bit more difficult than if I try to do like the Batman symbol or something like that. Like if I added an image that was the Batman symbol. Because I got a lot of lines in here. Now there's some curves too, but there's a lot more lines. Does everybody understand what I'm saying? Okay. So you can do that. You can use that as a guide if you want to. Adding an image, that helps. Okay, for some people. Some people just want to do something like this, something like an abstract drawing. If you want to do that, it's totally fine. As long as you have all your stuff is what I need, right? Okay? Does anyone have a question yet? Okay, so let me ask you a question then. How long are we working on this in class? All week. All week. So when I get done with the graph that I'm working on, I need to make sure to save, right? Now, can I go back to the one that had emit in it? I cannot because I didn't hit save before I open another one. Okay, so like I said earlier, this is not like Google. It's not going to save for you. You have to hit save up here every time. Okay, so I'll try to help you remember. Help each other remember. Every once in a while, just hit save. Okay. But like I said, this rubric is already in your Google Classroom. I'm probably not going to print a copy for everybody just because it's already there in Classroom and we can save some paper that way. Okay? Yes? We all good?